not just a brand for car lovers across the land. For the love of...
We must make sure that everybody has a space and we can actually use those roads as they intended to be used. So in terms of traffic management, you can look at it from two perspectives. So the first perspective is the supply side of kind of policy. So we want to provide, so that's why you're providing infrastructure that is going to be used by the cars. So what are we doing? We are constructing new roads. So if you've been moving around, probably Kampala now looks to be like a construction site. It's a mega construction site. Almost everywhere you turn, there is construction taking place. And of course, as lovers of cars, you need to take caution. I was happy when I entered in this space and I found signs. And while we were moving around stores, I thought somebody would actually get a mic and ask the audience, what are those signs that you're reading there? Do you actually understand those signs? Because it's very, very important. If, like the mechanics were speaking, the car itself gives you direction, gives you instructions on how you're supposed to be using it. Even the road has instructions on how you're supposed to be using it. But how many of us are actually following what the road is telling us? Very few people do that. And of course, Red Cross is going to tell you what that means. If the road is saying turn here and you don't turn, stop, you don't stop, there are going to be fatalities, and which is not what we want, because in transport, you want to facilitate movement from point A to point B that is safer. And along the way, as you take your journey, it should be very efficient from the mechanics, vehicle kind of things, but also the infrastructure that is being provided. So in terms of road infrastructure, we are doing a lot of work, as I've told you. So we have about 300 kilometers that are going to be reconstructed, rehabilitated, some of them upgraded. So the upgrade, we are turning gravel roads, so the maram roads, into tarmac. Because basically, if you find every turn that you're going to make, there is a site that clogs the traffic flow within Kampala. So we are very conscious on how we're going to do that. So you do it in a phased manner, and you make sure that you don't, concentrate all the works in the same space. If you do that, then the traffic flow is going to be a big challenge. But we're not only doing roads. You've seen our junctions are being signalized. At the moment, you might think you have many, because if you're using the major corridors, Kampala Road, Jinja Road, Bombo Road, so you're seeing so many lights. But actually we have a very sort of few junctions that are signalized. At the moment we are talking about 62 junctions, and more 30 are coming. So we need more. If you've traveled, you've seen cities almost at every junction there is a signal. That signal is there, again, it's the road communicating. Because basically on a junction where you don't have a signal, it is, I think for Kampala, the powerful ones take priority. That is the feeling. If you're driving a trailer, these other guys have started, they should listen to you, even when they are wrong. And of course, that is not how it is supposed to be. So what traffic junctions do, or what signals do, they apportion the time. So if I've said on this junction, we have a maximum of 2 minutes, every approach gets an allocation of time so that we can pass through that junction safely, because that's very, very important. And for us to make sure that we have seamless flow, KCCA has constructed a traffic control center. If you've been at City Hall recently, you've seen a new building, and inside that building, we have a traffic control center. So these junctions, they are remotely controlled. Why is that important? It's because on some approach you have more traffic, whether it's morning peak or evening peak, and you want technology to make sure that you're able to control that. So we have capabilities to do that. But also another category, which is the demand side of things, we want to make sure that we are traveling in an efficient way, and we should design cities to make sure that they allow us to travel in the most efficient way. We need cities that are compact. The The compact component of it is that you want to make sure that people don't take longer journeys to fulfill their needs. You want, in the neighborhood where you're living, if you're living in an estate, you don't need to move out of the estate to go for shopping. Within the estate, you actually have a mini supermarket. Why is that important? We are reducing on the need for you to burn your fuel to go wherever that you're going. So the mixed use kind of approach is very, very important for cities. So the physical planning aspect of it, you've zoned the city, you have the industrial area, you have, but you make sure that most of the things that people need within 15 minutes walk, you can actually be able to fulfill your needs. So that one is very, very important. How do we manage that, Then another component on the sort of demand side of things, you've heard of telecommuting. During COVID, most of you guys could not drive your cars, okay? But if you are working, you remain employed and you're doing the telecommuting. So there are so many things that you can do because of technology where you do not need to make a trip. Think about banking. Banking has really changed. How many times do you need actually to move to the bank? So the fewer we have people on the road moving, then those who are there for a core, need to travel, then you're able to travel efficiently because we've taken off so many people who would have just traveled to the bank to check their bank balance. But you can do that on your phone. But a few years ago, that was not possible. So you needed to move from Nigeria and come to maybe City Square to check your bank balance. It was happening, but right now, you can't even imagine that actually to use it to happen. The last bit that I want to talk about, because we want you guys to drive your cars safely, communicating with the road is very, very important. And the World Health Organization and the global world, ideally, you might not be aware, but it is what we call the safe system approach. The safe system approach, we want to make sure that your journey is safe. For it to be safe, we need 5 pillars to be ticked. The first pillar is a safe vehicle. You must have a vehicle that is safe. And I think from morning up to this time, we've been talking about a vehicle to make sure that the vehicle is what? Is safe. On our side, as KCCA and even Ministry of Works and Transport, we need to make sure that we have safe roads. Roads must be safe. Roads must communicate to you. So those signs you see on the road, they are not just cluttering streets, but they are meant to communicate to you. Please read the signs. Because when you read the signs, communication is happening. We need safe speeds. That vehicle has 0 kilometers, 5, 10, 20, 50 for a reason. And when you go on the road, you find 30 kilometers per hour, please look at your gauge and see what speed are you driving, because the road is telling you 30, it's telling you 50, it's telling you 80. Are you within the range? You even hear others saying 30. It is 30 for a reason. So that's very important for you to note, because we are communicating to you that we need safer speeds. Then, of course, we need safer road users. You people who are using the road. It's you, the drivers, but there are also people who are walking. There are also so many other things that are happening. We have cyclists, you have, of course, within the Traffic Act, the borders, they are vehicles. They are classified as vehicles, but they are also there. And the situation is bad. If you want to know, last year alone, we lost 404 people in Kampala on this small network. Those are dead people. I don't know how many you are. So just think about 404 people died on the road. And I can tell you, over 80%, it's the car. So you're a car lover. You had Arthur when he was, trying to give us space to talk. What was the testimony? That is very important. Across the country, last year, 5,000. That's a staggering number. Have you ever seen maybe those who go to Nambole and you watch a game, you can have a visual of what is 5,000. These are dead people. They didn't die because they had some diseases. No, they were on a road to fulfill a need. Somebody was coming to this event, they can't make it, they are dead. And when you get to think about it, if you've ever lost anybody in a crash, you know what I'm talking about. It's not the person who has died. There are so many people that depend on that very person who has died. You've crushed so many dreams. So we love the cars, but they also love the environment where we're driving these cars, and they also have that recognition that there are more people on the road than you who is in the vehicle and you feel protected. There are those guys who are not protected. Those mothers, those old women who are selling potatoes, selling maize, they are also on their need. So you have your nice car, it looks nice, as I've had the mechanics here. Be aware. Don't shatter dreams of people. I thank you.
Right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm sure you guys have a few questions, right? I have my own here, but I just want to make sure none of you guys wants to ask. Should I ask first?
Yeah, you ask.
I ask first, yeah? I think the one question that all of you guys have, the border borders, yeah?
Yes.
The border borders are the biggest problem in Kampala. And you keep saying we're organizing the border borders so that we can better control them. But we know border borders are untouchable. There is even a theory that border borders are part of the security. What plans do you, especially as the head of the transport department, what plans do you have to solve the problem? Because majority of these guys here that have dents on their cars, it's border borders. So how are you going to make it the city more friendly for us?
Okay, thank you, Aha. I think when we talk about the border borders, most people see the motorcycle.
Yes.
I want you also to see the person on the motorcycle. And you, who uses the motorcycle, why do you use the motorcycle? Probably faster speed.
Yes.
You need to get to your destination faster. You have an interview and you can't catch an interview if you don't have a border. So we need to flip a bit and look at why are they there. They are there because there is a gap. In your vehicle, you cannot move as quickly as they move. So like, clearly we need to first establish that why they are there, okay?
Yes.
Now, for you to reduce their numbers, you must serve the need for those who want to take it. I want to take a border because I want to rush, okay? Because you know you're going to get stuck in jam. So, of course, what we've been working on, we have a multimodal urban transport master plan. That master plan is basically focusing on mass transit. We must provide safe, efficient public transport system within the core network. So the very reason why it was difficult, of course I can't speak about the politics, of why we couldn't achieve the free border zone, it's because that very category of people, they're also asking, what is the alternative? You said we shouldn't go in this zone, but those that we transport, what is going to be the alternative? So right now, in the government, you've heard of Chira Motors.
Yes.
They are manufacturing electric vehicles. So they have the mandate and they are working with KCCA to make sure that we deploy city bus services as a starting point. City bus services on the major corridors, then where you have city bus services, definitely we know that the borders are not safe. Even when we are using them, we know they are not safe. But you keep asking yourself, what is the alternative? So if we can provide the alternative, the people who are making choices, should I take a border or should I take a bus? Yes. They will make the distinction. You don't even need to coerce anybody because you know the risks. So you definitely get to know which choice that you should take. But also, of course, on the enforcement side of things, I don't know whether you invited traffic police. Like I said, car lovers, you're using roads. There are guys, borders who are using roads. There are cyclists who are using roads. But also, many of us, we are misusing roads. Now you have borders, and of course, you know the category of people that I'm talking about.
Yes.
Okay? Some of them upstairs, they are really, you know, and it's very important that you appreciate that. And actually, for me, the very few cases that I use a border, even when I get on the stage,
yes,
I first look how the person is dressing up, has his helmet, is clean, because then you start getting an idea. But early in the morning, one time I stopped a borderman. Before I could jump on the border, the guy was drunk early in the morning. So just imagine, will that guy read any sign?
So,
So it's
Doctor,
very important that we appreciate
Doctor,
well.
how soon are you guys deploying the buses? When should we expect the buses to come? When is the earliest?
Yeah, how soon? We are very soon getting the first batch of the buses.
How many will they be?
About 50 buses, and the first corridor that is being prioritized. So if you can walk with me, the network, so if we are here, just get out here, go to Wandegeya, go to Marago, go to Kamocha, go to Bukoto. Are we still together?
Yes.
Go to Ntinda, come to Nakawa, come back to Jinja Road,
Kampala Road,
and come back here.
Oh.
So that is the first link. So
Yes.
we think if we can do that as the first priority corridor, then we'll start expanding, going to Gayaza, going to Mukono area. But also now for Mukono, already there is a mass transit. The railway, we have a meter gate railway. Some people might not be aware, but actually it saves you a lot of hassle. Within 45 minutes, you move from the railway station in Kampala to Mukono. So if you're leaving that side, please you take that advantage. But we also starting the detailed design and design update of bus rapid transit. If you've been to Dar es Salaam, probably that is the closest city where you have buses that have a dedicated corridor, so
Yes.
they don't mix with other vehicles, and that's where we want to move. So when that happens, I can tell you these numbers of border borders, they will completely reduce. But at the moment, because you need them, it's you who actually makes them big where they are. If you can abandon them, they have no business, they will leave.
Okay.
But can you?
I have another question here, Doctor.
Yes.
KCCA and the government is struggling with roads, but some of these guys here have money. They can work on their roads, not so? Yes. Why are we not allowed? You can find that 10 neighbors can come together and put money together and they work on their road. Why are we not allowed?
Thank you. I think it's not that you're not allowed. You're allowed if we find the right mechanism to do that. Roads are very expensive and most people actually do not appreciate what it means. So we've had cases where developers come and they're asking for permission to do a road. So if you want to build a road, there is a standard. Roads are classified. So there is a standard. So as long as you can raise that money, we are going to give you technical competence, because we are there to do that. You're actually helping us to do our work.
So it is allowed?
It is allowed. So I can guarantee you, if you have an association or a, just assure us that you have your money, make an application to KCCA. We are going to review that application and we see. Actually, at times, we've seen some developers that actually come to us, they can only afford to buy materials. But we have the equipment. We can actually work together and your road is going to be done. So it's allowed.
Okay. Then you guys, I'm going to ask Doctor to share his number before he goes. Let me ask one last question. Kampala has been classified among the cities that have the most unsafe air. Now, I understand that the government stopped all the cars, our small cars, from entering the country. But lorries as old as 1982 are still entering. So we cannot say that the cars are the problem, right? So the lorries are still entering. Because you cannot control the cars. So what is KCCA doing outside trying to control our cars to make sure that the air is safe?
Okay, thanks, Arthur. For the air to get safe, there are a number of things that you've got to do, because we need to first ask, why is it not safe?
We sort of know.
The honest truth is, cars are the biggest polluters. And of course, there are situations when they pollute most, when they're in jam. Because you know what is happening. You're idling the car, you're not making any movement, and of course, you know these border borders again that we are talking about. You know the different types of engines, 4-stroke and whatever. They pollute differently.
Yes.
So what are we doing? We have a directorate that is in charge of public health and environment. But from the side of cars, for you guys probably you want to know, and specifically on the heavy trucks that you're talking about. So there is a statutory instrument, so it's sort of a policy, to make it very simple, that is before the Minister of Works and Transport, where we want to restrict how the heavy vehicles access our roads. So in developed cities, even right now, some of the crashes that we are getting, it's because, you know, a 4-axle truck, a trailer, it couldn't brake.
Yes.
It's during daytime, and it runs into several cars. You know, it can add up all these rooms, like 10 of them, you know. So we are saying, how about if we allow these heavy trucks to come into our city at night, when more or less roads are actually very free.
Yes.
It is safer for them, but it's also safer for our environment and safer for other road users. Of course, they have also been demanding, can they be given spaces where they can park during daytime? Yes. Because if I'm coming from and I cannot be allowed to enter to access the city, where will I have parked, you know? So if you've gone on Ginger Road, past Namave, you find so many trucks parked there. And actually some of them, they know that they're going to enter in this space, and you know, a journey that would have taken probably 30 minutes, they're going to take about 5 hours.
Yes.
It is not efficient, they are losing money, they are losing, you know, they are polluting the environment. So some of them are already doing it. Yes. Some of the freight companies, the logistic companies, they know the times when they are traveling. They get somewhere, they park, then they start their journeys when they know that the roads are a bit less congested. So we are trying to make sure that we have lorry parks. We've already, if you've been looking in papers, we've been looking out for spaces along Sentema, in Ruzira. So we've already gotten land in Ruzira for lorry parks, and we want to make sure that, because they demanded for that, if you don't want me to access the city during daytime, where will I park? So government is working around that to make sure that we provide those spaces, then they will have no excuses.
One last question, Doctor. One last question. If my car breaks down on Kampala Road, before you guys come and start harassing me, how much time do I have for me to leave? Because that's very important, not so? Your car I can run out of fuel. And then you guys start harassing me, traffic police start harassing me, but I know under the traffic law, I have a certain time I'm allowed to leave my car on the side of the road until I get him. And also, can my mechanic come and remove a tire? Because sometimes it can be a brake, and I just need to replace a brake. How much time am I allowed, and can my mechanic work on the car? And if I get harassed, is there a helpline I can call and I say, so that I have my gamba logo up there?
Okay, thank you for that. I guess the question would be really good for traffic police. But what I know, within the law, there is a prescribed time that you've got to spend this much time inconveniencing other road users. When we go into the road use, it is very important always to know that it's not just about you. There are so many other people who are on their journeys, and even you yourself. If you find somebody who has blocked a road because of some funny reason, you get angry. So the question would be, if you've gotten a car break, you should make sure that it is resolved as quickly as possible. If you're on a road section where probably the road space can allow you to be pushed aside, and you engage your mechanic to do it as quickly as possible, and in many cases, always look for the police officer in the neighborhood, because you need protection. Yes. You need protection because you're a road user. These problems happen, and they can happen to anybody. I think you can stalking here. Anything can happen, and you know, you're in a problem. We don't want, because of breakdown, to aggravate the problem. Because
Doctor, you see, traffic police normally doesn't actually harass people. They normally help us. But I've seen people that were taken to City Hall because their car broke down, and they towed it. Well, I might not until I get to know the details, because the misuse of a road can really mean many things. I just wanted to give, I want to give you a scenario. If I'm driving on a road and my car has broken down, and I don't have space to tow that vehicle, I don't even have money, I don't even know where to go. Would you allow me, and you guys, you're behind me, I start changing the tire from right there? Probably you cannot allow me. You basically say, is there any authority that can come and help this guy? You know? Now, if there is any authority that is going to come, whether it's traffic police, to help you to find a safe place where you can repair your car, how you're going to
behave.
Doctor,
You know, it's
City Hall is not a safe place to repair my car. When you guys come to tow the car, you take it to City Hall.
Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, Dr. Leonard. Give him a round of applause, guys. And then I'd like for us to move to Red Cross. Yeah. I know he has been dying, itching to give you the news. Please, sir, I don't want to talk for you. So go to wait, then the TV will say, you mean? But you give us.
Thank you so much, Arthur. Yeah. Good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Isaac Kimbugwe from the Uganda Red Cross Society. I work in the first aid and ambulance. I'm in charge of deployment and quality assurance. I'm not the person you invited. You invited my boss, who is the director, PR, that is Irene Nakasita, but because of other engagements, she had to tell me to come and...
Don't stop on only admiring how it looks like. If I may ask people in the audience, or Arthur, you too, what is your favorite vehicle?
I drive what I can afford.
No, yeah, I know you drive what you can afford, but you have a dream car that you're like, okay, if I get some money, I can buy this type of car.
I think driven car and cars feel the same for me. So I think I'm one person that doesn't have a dream car anymore.
Yeah, because maybe you've driven it.
Yes.
Maybe any audience can shout out any person.
Yeah, just shout out what's your dream car. Let's go with the Namukande then.
What is a Namukande?
It's a Corolla. It's a Corolla.
Oh, okay. So, I know now, just like somebody else needs an XV, another one Corolla, another one we say, okay, for us we drive more of a Land Cruiser. That is what we drive mostly. It goes past admiring the type of car and how it looks like, to now also thinking about how safe this car is. Because when you think about safety, you think about the safety of the car itself, the condition it is in, whether you are driving a well-maintained vehicle or you are driving what we call the DMCs or any level of the vehicle. To also the safety of the people inside. The people inside is also you, because you're also a person who's driving it. The person inside or the people inside you are driving, and as well the other road users. Those other road users, we talk about priority goes to the people, second priority goes to the animals, third priority goes to the other vehicles, okay, and the property. Okay, so we think about all that. We sure if the car lovers think about all those, we can have reduced emergencies and reduced accidents. You think about yourself, the people you're driving, plus the other road users. So that is when the Red Cross has to come in. That is when the Red Cross has to come in. Red Cross comes in 3 phases. What we call the pre-phase, what is the first phase, where there is no problem. There is no problem, just like we are here, no problem, we have our vehicles. We come in and train you in road safety. The signage that engineer has been talking about, the ones that welcome us to this hall, I saw, okay, do not turn, okay, no you turn here, very many stop, no parking, very many signages, okay? It's very prudent for a person driving a vehicle to know what they mean. But just like he has said, many of us don't know what they mean. That is why we find ourselves doing the opposite. Okay, and when the traffic guy asks you, points at the signage, do you know what that means? You're like, I found it. I really don't know. But maybe it means this. But really, literally, you didn't know what it means. So we come in and train people in road safety. We train people who are not drivers. We go ahead and train the drivers. And as well, we train the border riders, because you cannot do the trainings without those people. Because I reached a point, and maybe, engineer, maybe we have more borders than vehicles in Uganda. There is a time when we had very many cars than borders, but now we have more. Because there is a time when you are somewhere and then this room is filled with borders. We are like, oh, there are very many. So we train all those people. Companies come to us, like the Uganda Drivers Association, they come to us and go to train. There are people in road safety, we add on a component of first aid, okay, things like that. So right now we even have projects that are going on, like the Safe Steps project, where we train road users on how to manage safety on the road, and as well, if something happens, what can they do? That is what we do as a Red Cross. It's part of our mandate. It's a part of our mandate to train people in road usage and what to do in our second phase, and that is the post-crash care. That is the emergency response. Red Cross, we always say we are your next of kin in case there is an emergency like accidents and other emergencies, because here we can talk about crashes, RTAs, road traffic accidents. Well, we went ahead with the Ministry of Health and positioned 21 ambulances around the country, and those ambulances are free.
Hey.
Yeah, they are free.
Should you share the number?
Yeah, I will share the ambulance number.
Okay.
And in case you find any emergency and then you call onto that toll-free number, an ambulance that is close by will come to your rescue very, very fast. Okay? They are very well equipped ambulances, and the driver will not ask for anything.
They have fuel?
Absolutely. Red Cross must have fuel.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have to make sure so that the driver doesn't ask for fuel.
So that ambulance comes along with the driver who's experienced in ambulance driving and of course emergency. It comes along with an EMT, that's a medic, a paramedic, who has to do stabilization and patient management before the doctor handles that person. And it has a first aid volunteer.
Yes.
Okay? And those ambulances are tracked where it is, how long has it taken to reach the patient, how long is it taking to manage the patient, and how long does it take to get to the facility.
Yes.
To see that we provide quality care to the patient. Okay? Unfortunately, many people don't know that we have free ambulances, but they are there, and I'll share the number. I'll share the number at the end, and then people can always call whenever they meet an accident. Maybe you are driving your car and you come across an accident, maybe not you. You just call that number, the ambulance will come as you proceed. Okay? But still, it will be very, very good if you also have first aid skills. Because, okay, you called us, our headquarters is in Rubaga. Maybe we are dispatching an ambulance from Rubaga to come to Back Valley. It can take us like 5 minutes with all the jam there and everything, all the chaos around town. So within the 5 minutes, if somebody is bleeding catastrophically, it might be very hard for us to reach when that patient is still alive. So it's very important for also the other road users to get the skills in first aid. At least you know how to manage somebody who's bleeding. Maybe he has got a cut and blood is oozing out like nothing. At least you should know, okay, what can I do for this? Can put a bandage, and then the ambulance arrives when the person is still alive. Because if there is no first aid, the recent research shows that 7 out of 10 patients die if they are not given first aid. 7 out of 10. You all know that we don't have hospitals on every accident scene, and no doctors are on every emergency scene. But who are the doctors in substitute? Are us, the road users. We should have the skills. If somebody has gotten bleeding, can you do something? I don't know if you heard about the scenario where one of the it is way back maybe in 2022, I don't know, when the former human rights CEO died. He died just around Mulago.
Yes.
He died around Mulago in a very expensive vehicle, putting on a very expensive suit, wearing a very expensive perfume. But the people around did not know what to do for him. And what they could do was very simple. Get the person out of the vehicle, bring him outside, open the airway, give him CPR. Basically, that is what he wanted. The person who came to his rescue, though he later died, is a doctor at this case clinic up here, who was passing by, and he was like, oh, what is going on here? He looked on and then, oh, somebody is down, people are trying to, Ugandans, we know every first aid is funny. That is what we know. That is first aid. Though many times, actually 99% of that will not work. Instead, it will kill the patient. Okay? So he saw that is when he comes in to know, okay, what the problem was, and found out this person was not breathing. He started CPR immediately. You walked past our tent there and you saw dummies. Those dummies are used to train people in CPR and how can you manage a person of that condition. Okay? Maybe you go for shopping, you lock your kid inside, you come back, the kid has suffocated and they're unconscious. You should know what to do before you get to maybe Mulago or to KCCA, because by the time you drive within that jam, getting there might be very hard to get there when the person is still alive. So that is what we come in Red Cross. When you call us, we come, but we make sure that there is a team of people, community members, you, the people driving, to come in and then give that first aid. So as when we reach there, at least we find this person alive. You know, everybody has one life, isn't it? Nobody has ever died. Have you ever died?
I don't want.
You don't want to die? Yeah. I always ask people, if somebody has said Ida. Ida has died many times. Yeah. But when you die, that one life goes. Okay? And we want to preserve that one life. And how Red Cross, me as Isaac, I have my colleague here, Yaface, I have Issa, I have Richard, I have all those. So you see, people who know first aid that came today, we are like 6, but we are like 100 people around here. Okay? So that means the number is still very, very small. In case something happens at Batu Valley, when we are at Fubaga, if nobody knows what to do there, chances are that we might find that patient dead. That is, chances are that we might find that patient dead, and then our ambulance or what will help only to take person for post-mortem or post-death care or something like that. Yeah. But if we had somebody or a person who knows at least opening the airway, at least a skill in first aid, at least, okay, it would help. These days, companies call us, we go train their people in first aid, companies, different companies in construction, in driving, in law, in medics as well, hospitals also. So they want to have at least a first aider on site because it is really very important. Okay? So that second step is when the Red Cross comes in, first aid. And the third, which is the last step, is referral and follow-up, because we have the ambulances that will do that. Okay? We take it to the health facility. Okay? Of course, we take to the referral, national referrals like KCCA, Naguru, Mulago, unless the patient wants to take them to CASE, to anywhere else. Okay? So we refer you at a free cost. You don't need to pay, and on board you are given very good patient care, because our ambulance is just like one packed there. If anybody wants to look at it, it has the different equipment that can help to sustain life, what we call life support. So in those 3 phases, Red Cross comes in. Red Cross will come in. We know, and everybody knows that speed is good, isn't it? You love speed, isn't it? Because when he was talking about 30 kilometers, you're like, 30 kilometers per hour.
That is too slow.
30 kilometers per hour. I'm sure you've been to Bulisa.
No, I'm not.
You've not gone to Bulisa. They have very nice roads. That even if you drive 180, nothing will happen. But they tell you have to drive 40 kilometers per hour on roads like the airport. They are very carpet. They are very nice. Okay? Why? They're trying to prevent that. So, and in case you don't follow them, you're penalized. Okay? That is why what engineer was talking about. If you don't follow them, of course the traffic enforcement comes in, things like that. Okay? So we all know that speed is fun because we all love speed. Okay? In my accident in 2015 on Masaka Road, it was because of speed. Okay? I'm not saying that after the accident I left speed, but yeah, because my limbs got broken and yeah, by the time I was taken to hospital, of course they gave me first aid, but because nobody knew what to do on site, they made the conditions worse, and now I have some permanent disability in some of my limbs because maybe they did not do well. But what I was talking about is speed. Speed is what caused it, and of course the road was under construction. They had poured the bituminous, that black substance, and you notice slippery. And it was a little raining, drizzling, so you know, drizzling and the slippery nature of the road, and we are speeding, okay? Okay, maybe that time it was not speeding to us because we are driving at 80. Maybe it was not speeding, but it's speeding depending on the nature of the road that you're driving. Okay? Even 40 can be speeding depending on where you are. Okay? Even the 30, even the 20. Sometimes they tell you, okay, don't go beyond 20, depending on the nature of the area you are in and the nature of the road. So, what does this mean is that as you're driving the speed, you should be conscious. You should be conscious. Because, you know, somebody asked us that, why do you think the speedometer has 180? Did the Mzungu have thoughts of putting it on 80? And we all know, of course, the car can drive up to 180. I've seen cars with 240, okay? Yeah, and above. And above. But let us not forget that when it crashes, you are the person to get the effects of it.
So, your names, Weyanjule, Okolerawa, and how you knew about this?
Amanya gange, Bitwaiga Dennis, nga nkolerawo. Nkola ne White King Motors, tusangibwa Bakuli, tuli ku mukutu gwa TikTok, batuyitira White Kings Motors. Tutudde emmotoka, buli kika kya mmotoka kyonna ky'owulira ku nsi. Bw'oba oyagala ezikozeeko empya, bw'oba oyagala ozikutikkira okuva e Japan, byonna tubikwasaganya. Tusangibwa Bakuli ku hospital station.
Thank you very much, White King Motors. Addako. Balamusizaako banyeebo ne bassebo. Amanya n'eddoboozi kankozesa erinnya lye mmanyi ennyo erya BT Motors, nange nsangibwa Bakuli ku mafuta ga ash. Twawula n'omukulu ono neiba wange ennyo, era emmotoka gy'aba talina asobola gino newangu bagisiira gino newuwe. Kati temwewalana? Temweroga?
Ewaffe teri ddogo.
Okay, tweyazike BT Motors.
Je waliko wanyeebo ne basebo. Sikawope Zema, Hawaii Motors Uganda. Kana ffe tutunda motoka empya n'enkadde, tuzigula, tukola top ups ne importation. Nakawa, that's Jambogo, Nakawa division near passport collection offices.
Okay, tweyanze sokolinde mukatono badde nsaba team for the love of cars musebere backstage kuba no session olugivaamu nze ngenda kuba mamaliriza nze ngende nkole team for the love of cars mujje backstage. Team for the love of mwena team for the love of cars. Okay, madam tandika.
Amanya nze Semambo Juliana Kakembo, era nkolera mu Huawei but ndi mu section ya clearing and forwarding. Bwekiri nti emmotoka yo gireese oyagala giclearinga mu URA, kyonna kyoyagala gikola.
Tebongezaamu ku ssente tukubanjawulo.
Ledda.
Okay. Noza mulidde omukyalo oyo akola bya clearing mwebatikke moloka ezammwe nga mwagala ozimaliriza.
Nkola ne company ya Kenom Chemicals, the favor platinum sponsors for the love of cars conversion. Zino products eziri wanofa abazikola okukirininga bode y'emmotoka, okukirininga engine, okukirininga amataala, n'ewaka osobola okugikozesa okukiriyaninga tires. Tulina opportunities abaagala kupatanalinga naffe, especially we are establishing distribution centers. Musobola okujja watusobola obatuukirira ne tukola business. Zino products waliyo retail price, waliyo ne dealership price. So we want to partner with people all over Uganda. So if you feel that you can do business with us, we are open, the opportunity is there. so we can see how we push each other. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cameron, for the sponsorship. These are one of the main guys as to why we are here. So I'm having another gentleman in front here.
Yes, good afternoon everyone. I don't know if it's afternoon or evening. My name is Edmond and I work with AdNorth. We do sell engineering additive, that is nano chile. So if you want to save on fuel, double your mileage, they've been talking about emissions and protecting the environment. This is the right product for you. So it helps you to reduce on emissions. We are located at Akamwesi Mall, Gayaza Road, first floor, NW03. So we also have agents. Engineer Ryan is an agent, and then we also have an agent in Barara. Yeah, so this is the product. Yes, our tent is outside. For more information, you can still come to the tent. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.